hello, my loves, my family, my holy divine higher beings, my heads. This is your girl, Ravel J, and this is Faith with Works. This is a podcast on Spreaker, and I'm your host, and I'm stepping out, and I'm stepping on faith, and I'm here with you today to enjoy and speak blessings, life, good vibrations, higher vibrations, love into my family, into this world, and to just be spiritual and loving. Thank you for giving me the chance and the opportunity to speak my mind, for listening to me, and I give nothing but blessings and gratitude and love to everyone under the sound of my voice. We all have a chosen path. We all have a purpose on this earth. Each and every individual needs to get on their jobs, get on their purpose, get on their transformational rise. Because we have a job to do, and this world cannot work without each and every individual that has made it through that race into this life to be here to make it work. We have something great, something that we all need, that it is literally a domino effect and a connected, woven tapestry of each other. Whether it be good or bad, it's a part of all the grand design and God's plan. Now, I know that there's a lot of people facing COVID. There's a lot of families that's going through mourning. There's a lot of injustices and killings and from one another against brother, police against us, the government against us. And what I must say is that if we are like the earth, if we are part of this and we come from the dust of this earth, we are literally self-destructing and self-destroying ourselves. Not only that, the earth and everything that is within our world's mind. We all have different worlds. We all have different cultures, religious backgrounds, spirituality, beliefs, practices, concepts, but we all are going through this human race. We all have one thing that we have to face inevitably, and that's the death of this flesh. We all have a common unity of feeling uneasy. We are all in this moment that is the great revelations that is coming to pass of God's word and will. And I just want to say, for all those who not seeing God right now, they feel like they can't hear him. They feel like they cannot see him. And when I say God, I believe in the holy and righteous Jesus Christ. I'm not talking about that white picture of Jesus Christ of what one Caucasian darkness or Caucasians want to see as their God. Everyone has their own vision of their world, of what God is that relates to them. My God, my Jesus Christ, he is a being. He is the manifested word and manifested into the flesh. He is the living, divine Son of God, from the living divine Son of the living God and the living divine Son of man. Which in return, I feel like we are Jesus within us, which he is omnipotent, omniscient, omniscient. He can see through all of us. He can watch all of our actions through us and through our hearts and through our transitions of each other. We can do more than what he gave us the power to say. He leaves us his peace, and we can do more than what he will do. We can do it. We do have healing. We do have all the powers and the authority and dominion of this earth to do so, just not over each other. We are all, I believe, supposed to be leading and walking together in equality. We all have an inheritance. We all have a purpose of why God created us, for us to see and for us to understand. But it's done in our own individual salvation time to understand God and to learn and to love Him and one another. And like they say, if you cannot love anyone else without truly loving yourself, then that goes to the same reference as love thy neighbor as thyself. And love thy Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy might, and with all thy mind. With all thy soul. Depends on which translation you are looking at. Now, I want everyone to know that God's protection in the midst of danger. God is protection in the midst of danger. He doesn't promise a world that's free from danger, but He does promise His help whenever we face danger. He does promise that. And I believe no matter what's the name that you call God, how you believe and you see Him, He promises that. So God within us and the Father within He, which the power of the Holy Spirit, aligns us with His thinking, because we cannot think as God do. We cannot even obtain what God's thinking and process is. But we ask to be in line with His thinking, aligned with His will, aligned with His heart, to see the innermost secret parts of His heart, so that we may also be searched by our hearts and to know what's the darkness, what we don't need, what we need to be pulling out of us, all the bad and the good at this time, so we can develop magnificent, great gifts that God has put into us that is deep down that we don't know that we have yet. I am just saying, let's walk into ourselves as higher evolved beings. We can say that as a collective response, so we don't disrespect or hurt anyone else or anger them in their religious or spirituality or beliefs or practices or understanding all the way they was just taught. Like, we don't want to, basically just offend anyone. I'm not intending to offend anyone, but what I am intending to give is nothing but goodness of God and just high love and favor. And just to know, I want everyone to know, even those who are very, very in the trenches right now that are struggling, God is with you. He loves you. He is sending this word to you today to know, don't give up. Don't you fret. Don't be afraid. You find your place to center yourself and to hear Him with an ear. Ask Him everything. If you're mad, if you're angry, if you're upset, however you talk to whomever, talk to God like that. Go directly to the source and talk to God. He has all power. He can handle all things. He already knew everything that was going to happen in the end from the beginning. So we must put our faith into that. We must step out on faith. Now, I'm not one to really put myself out there like that with stepping out and speaking from a spiritual aspect. I used to be very sensitive about that. I used to be very sensitive about what everybody else think and the snare or the growl for me offending anyone else's culture. But at the end of the day, we was all born to where we was born. We grew up where we grew up. We was culturally developed, brought up, molded how we were, and that is something that if we choose to believe it when we get older and get of age, we choose to keep on believing it. If we choose not to, that's our choice. God gives us the free will from that. But at the end of the day, I ask for respect with my beliefs and my spirituality as well as I give respect to others. Because at the end of the day, I know if we're all on this earth together, we will all be in heaven together. He has a plan already. God already created this. So He knows all and He sees all. What is there to be scared of? I really had to ask myself, and I came to a point in these last few months of my life where I'm just like, what is it going to take? You know what I mean, Ravel? What is it going to take for me to step out on faith and not pass the mic, but be the mic? Show that I have an amplified sound of a good, strong, powerful spirit. And that I love to touch people. I love to uplift them. I have so much empathy and compassion towards others. But being that I do have that, I do have a sensitive heart. And I have learned mostly the sensitive people, they are very, very vicious when their hearts becomes broken or trampled on. Or they have a misunderstanding or a misconception or perception of what is being taken advantage of or happening to their hearts. I found most of the people that is the most vicious or the killers, as people say, or the most cold hearted people, or the people that's just straight cutthroat, is the most sensitive, compassionate, deeply loving people that just refuse to lose, refuse to be hurt, to refuse to allow their heart to be abused. So they basically become frozen. And anyone that they see that is coming at them in that way, mainly I've seen mostly a lot of trauma backgrounds, abandonment, not some type of spiritual structure, the way that this government planned for over 50, 60 years to structure the lives of the breakdowns and the mentalities and spirits of our people. Now, I was told in a wise quote, which I'm learning so much more education through my tribe and through others that's just opening up and from hoods and from famous people from a different aspect of people that has considered to be successful in their eyes or made it, hip hop, the nation, our spirituality, our whole collective community is speaking in a whole different way where God's like stirring up the gift. And I know what I've been noticing is like we have been having a lot of mental health. There's a lot of issues, a lot of emotional factors, a lot of traumas that a lot of people are dealing with, personal and emotional, mental wellness and development, which I have been doing so myself. And I remember a quote that was said, and I don't know where it came from, but I know it came from Uncle Sam, which ain't my uncle. Neither is yours. Break the mind, keep the body, make a slave. Kill the head, kill the body. Isn't that something? That is just something to really think about. Like, wow, break the mind, keep the body, make a slave. We're going to continue on that thought. I'm going to take a break, and after this moment of our break, and we come right back, we're going to dive back in and continue with this. And as I come out spiritually and speak more and become more comfortable with this, we're going to see where this goes. And we're going to see if we can touch someone by the will of God. We'll be back. This is Faith with Works.